In this video, I'm going to show you how you can scrape anything on the internet using Apify and N8n, whether it's going to be daily news or competitor updates or generating leads. This system can automate it all and save you hours every single day. And before we actually get into how you can build this out, I wanted to show you just one of many different use cases. So as an AI development company, it's crucial that we are actually staying informed on the latest technology and trends, and of course the news that's revolving the world of AI. So what I've done is I've created a system that will automatically research the latest trends every single morning and provide me with a report in my Slack channel, just giving me the link to the source it found. Now, of course, if I wanted to, I can just have this send me an email or maybe send me a WhatsApp message. It could take so many different shapes. And I figured this would be most applicable to all of you guys, those of you who wanted to implement something like this within your business and within, so your associates can see it as well. Now, I'm going to be showing you how you can actually build this out step by step, so stick around to the end for that. But I would just wanted to give you a quick demo of how this works. So what I've done right here, we're making a call to Apify. And Apify is basically a marketplace where you can scrape different websites. So they offer a lot of different integrations. So you could scrape Apollo, you can scrape Google Maps, whatever it may be. Now, what I want in particular to actually scrape is AI agents. So you can see right here, the query is AI agents. But if I wanted to, I could just replace it with something like AI automation. And that's going to be the topic that I want to research. So if I just run this, I'm going to click on play. And it's going to take a second for it to actually run this. But what it's doing is it's going into Apify. So if I refresh this, we should see a run right here. Yeah, so you can see it's starting the crawler. So in the back end, it's actually using Apify to search my specific trends in the specific topics that I'm looking for. And then after, what I can do is take the information that Apify generates for me and then put it into a report. I could summarize the information and, take a lot of different paths from there on. So I'll come back to you guys in a second once this is finished. Okay, it just finished running and I pulled up my Slack channel and this is kind of what it looks like. So if I scroll up a little bit, let's find the right time. So it should be around 8:17. We will see up at the top, we're seeing 2024, the 24th of December. We're seeing an article for AI's growing role across B2B payments will be impossible to ignore in 2025. A revolution in robotics, symbiotic stack stores as AI-powered warehouses emerge. And there's a few others, and it's providing me with some previews to it. So let's go ahead and check on this one, being the Inside China's plan to deploy 1 million AI robots in just 2 years. So it's providing me with the link to the article so I could check it out. And if I wanted to, I could take it a step further and I could have Perplexity or anything else actually scrape this and give me more summaries on all the information instead of just providing me the links to the articles. But this is getting rid of one critical step in terms of my research process. So obviously I have to do a lot of research when it comes to staying up to date on the latest tech and the latest trends. So instead of just having to actually find these articles, it's just doing all that for me. What I would probably do if I wanted to make this a little bit more intensive and a little bit more practical is add a Perplexity step or maybe an AI agent to analyze the data and take specific actions from there, like determine if this article is relevant to me or not, and whatever else I deem it to be necessary. Anyways, before I get into the actual tutorial and showing you guys how you can build out something like this and plenty of other different things, I just wanted to quickly mention that if you're looking to implement AI agents and other custom AI solutions into your company to increase your bottom line, then check out the link below to apply to work with us. And if you're looking to learn how to build these systems like this and other agents and automations and actually fast track your learnings, then check out our community link. It's down below in the description. It's brand new and I'm super excited to share it with all of you guys. But anyways, you can get the links for both of those down in the description. And let's just go ahead and start building out this workflow. So what I've done is I've actually created a Miro board and it's relatively simple, but I figured this would help you guys visualize how you can actually go about determining what you need to, or what you should be automating and scraping to help you guys get through your day a little bit easier and, bring upon some cost savings. Now, this is how you're going to be able to scrape literally anything with Apify and N8n. So what I started off with, before I get into a little bit more about Apify, because I did briefly explain it, but I wanted you to ask yourself, what is it that you need to happen? So I want you to think about the task that you do repeatedly or the data that you search for often. So for me in particular, every single day, or at least a few times a week, I was searching for the trends in the latest technologies and just new emerging stuff that's happening within the AI space. So instead, I'm having Apify actually do these searches for me. Now, to give you some more examples, I've broken them down into kind of the different departments. So we have compliance monitoring, we have market research, competitor research, generating leads, and content creation. So there's a lot of different ones, so you can pick and choose. And hopefully this will spur some ideas as to what you can actually automate within your business or what you can implement for business owners. Now, let's just go ahead and start off with competitor research. Let's say you have to worry about finding articles or updates about competitors automatically and monitoring competitor pricing or product launches. So what you can do is, if this was the instance, you could go to the store. As I mentioned, Apify is just a marketplace for a bunch of different tools. So we have Instagram scrapers, we have Google Maps extractor. So in this instance, we could go to Google search and we could find Google search results scraper. Or if we wanted to, we could find, let's see what else they have. Google search autocomplete API. So there's a lot of different options. And, if I choose this one, we can automatically have it do the research for me. We could have it search a term of Amazon or Walmart, and we could just have it provide any information that it is coming up with. And then from there, we can have an AI agent break down whether or not it's relevant and whether or not it will help you guys with your competitive research. So there's a lot more specific things that you could be doing about it. But, I'm just trying to make this a little bit general and give you guys a holistic understanding of what you can do. So for industry monitoring, maybe you might be saying, I need to scrape articles about AI automation and send a daily report, or track the trending topics like AI agents on Google News. So this would probably be a better example instead of Google search is Google News, because that's usually where you're going to be finding the upcoming emerging technologies and any maybe industry fundings or companies raising investments. So let's go back and let's look at market research. You could be saying, I need to analyze customer reviews for pain points or track product prices across competitor websites. Another one is I need to track changes in GDPR compliance documents or scrape regulatory websites for new updates. So in this case, we'll see if we could find anything for that. So I don't see anything for regulatory. What if I do regulations? No, it doesn't look like it gets that specific, but if that's the case, there's so many other API providers and API marketplaces that you could find. If I wanted to, we could go into Rapid API. That's another API marketplace that is very common that I've used in the past. And I believe I've actually covered a couple videos using that. Apify is probably the most broad and has the most integrations. So this is what I'm going to be using for this video. What you want to do is just identify what needs to happen. And then from there, check if Apify has any actors for your use cases. And actors are the actual modules and the APIs that you're going to be calling. So the Google News Scraper, I was running an actor in that case. Well, anyways, now that you get the point of what Apify is and how we're going to be using it, so we're actually going to be making an API call request just using these HTTP requests with an N8n because they don't have any native integrations with Apify. As you can see, it's not as easy as make.com or Zapier, but I still prefer using N8n over all these other tools because I think it's a lot more simple to build these automations and agents most of the time. And at the end of the day, it's just the best place for building out AI agents. Not that this is necessarily an agent that we're building, but you could so easily turn it into something that's actually agentic. Now, what we're doing here is, as you can see, we're getting the daily news on AI agents. So if I wanted to, I could change the topic to AI automation, or let's say, what else could we get news on? Maybe emerging AI technologies. I think that could be a interesting topic. But anyways, it's probably best if we just start from the beginning. So what we're doing is we want this workflow to start at a specific time every single day and generate that report for us. So I usually start working around 9 a.m. every morning. So it'd be pretty useful instead of having to search the internet and finding all these different articles. Instead, this workflow will just run automatically and find them for me. So every day, this workflow that I showed you in Slack, I already closed it out, but that workflow and that report, it's going to be generated every single day at 9 a.m. Next up, what we're doing is we're setting fields. So what we need to do is we need to provide some context to the actor. So if I open up this specific actor, the Google News Scraper, this is the one we're going to be using for our search to generate the results and everything of the reports. If I come into, I believe it's run options or date interval, that would. So we could search dates from and dates to. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to get it from the past 7 days, or maybe I'll just give it today's date instead. So today is the 23rd of December. So I could just say 2323 and do the same thing with N8n. But we obviously have to provide context to that. So what you would normally do right here is you could just say something like now, and then this would give you the date. But since Apify's is just the date and not including the time, we have to remove the time from N8n's format. So I'm just going to back up, and what I'm doing right here is I'm doing double brackets. So I'm saying new date to ISO string, and then I'm splitting the time. Feel free to pause this video and copy exactly what I am writing right here. Probably the easiest way for you to go about it. But as you can see right here, it's just going to provide the current date, which is the 23rd of December. All right, next up, what I wanted to do is, for my particular use case, I wanted to extract the past 7 days, not just the current date. So what I've done here is I've just written out some code, but it's probably easier if you either just pause this again and if you just copy what I'm writing, or the most simplest method in ChatGPT or Claude is more than capable of writing out some code for you to implement within here. I do it all the time, and it's super practical, and it works about 90% of the time if you if you iterate it a couple different times. But that's all I'm doing right here. So if I test this out, it should be getting the past 7 days. As you can see, it's going to grab the 17th through the 23rd. Next up, we're doing an HTTP request. All I did right here is I do an add a node, and you search up HTTP, and I'm actually going to close this out. But what I am doing within here, I'm calling the API endpoint. And how you get your API endpoint from Apify and this specific actor is if you go to API, you go to endpoints, what you could do is, since we're just going to run the actor, we're not going to run this actor synchronously or get the dataset items or anything like that. We just want to run the actor and get the information from it. So what you can do is you could just copy this API key right here. Well, I guess this would be an endpoint with the API key in here. So I'm going to copy that, and all you do is just paste it straight into here. And something that I do at the end, and this isn't always necessary, if you have a premium plan within Apify, then you probably aren't going to have to do this. But what I always do is I do and memory equals 1024. And this just ensures that it's not going to burn up all my memory within Apify. So you can see usually it's going to require maybe 2048 gigs of memory or megabytes. But just for sake of this video, we're just going to leave it at 1024. So to do that, just write and memory equals 1024 at the end of your API key. So if you're putting your API key right there, then you aren't going to have to put your API within the header parameters. So what you do next, once you're scrolling down, you're just going to enable the send headers, and you're going to only input content-type. And then for the value, that's just going to be application/JSON. For the sending of the body, we'll do body content type of JSON, and the JSON here we will get from Apify. So if you're coming into the input of your actor, if you go next to the input, next to manual, you'll find the JSON. So we could just copy this straight up. So grab that, and we'll literally just paste it straight into here. So I'm going to change the topic of this. I'm not too sure why I started off with that earlier, but let's just put in emerging AI technologies. And then now this is going to be our topic, and this is what the report is going to generate. It's going to search up news containing emerging AI technologies and provide me information with that. Right, now that we have that hooked up, we want to run this previous node. This is just setting the fields to make it a little bit easier for me to identify all the parameters in all of the different schemas. So for the code, I want to set this as the current date. So let's go ahead, and I've already done that. Right here, all I'm doing is just dragging it over. Now let's just actually map it out. So let's execute this, and now let's map this. So if I open this up and I go from the date from and the to date, so let me remove these. So the date to, that's going to be the current date. So I'll just plug that in, and the from date, that is going to be right there. Now that we have the topic in there, we have the dates in there, we can move on to the next point. And the next point is going to be actually getting the runs. So this first one is just getting the message ID. It's not doing all too much. You will have to plug in your API key right here. So how you get your API key, if you're not getting it from right over here, if you go into your settings, you go to API and integrations, you can get your personal API token right there. So let me go and back up, go back to my actor, and let's go to N8n. We're going to enable query parameters. So we want to wait for the finish, and we're just going to do 60 seconds. And this should allow us to have enough time to see if the actor is actually going to finish. So we'll leave that 60 seconds. You could bump it up or even lower it. Besides that, we'll be including headers. You'll also be including the content type and the application JSON from last time. But since we didn't include the API key at the end of our endpoint, what we'll do instead is we just put the API key down here and it will look something like that. Make sure you're putting bear as the name. Now for the URL, I'm going to be getting the actor run. So how I need to get that is if I go to endpoints, and this is kind of what I'm just grabbing right here. So the run actor, and I'm just going to copy and paste that, put it right here. So it's going to be api.apify.com/v2/actor-runs, and then just include the JSON data ID that we will be getting from this HTTP request right here. So I'm just going to run this, and once that's finished, I'm going to open this up, and as you can see, since I put in these double brackets, it's already going to pull the JSON ID from my HTTP request, and that's exactly what we are looking for. How you can do that is just you plug it in right there, and it's going to populate for you. You'll know if it's working or not because it'll give you a green highlight. Next, we're just going to run this, and we'll come up to this last HTTP request. Now this last one, this is going to be actually getting the dataset ID, and you can get this from, let's see, right here. So you can just copy this endpoint or copy what's on my screen, just pause it if you would like, but it's just going to be api.apify.com/v2/datasets. Put in your JSON dataset ID that you're getting from the previous automation. So if I come back, you'll see, I'm just going to search dataset ID. You can see down here, we should be finding something like this and just plugging it into our, or it could be this one. It might be this one instead. I'm plugging it into the next workflow, and this is actually going to return all the different articles and everything. Yeah, so I'm actually going to close out this. You can close out the stats. So I'm just going to try to provide you guys with a clear output of where it will be at. So let's search dataset, and it'll be right here, right under the options within your previous HTTP node. Here, we're just going to do another wait for finish. We're going to do 60 seconds, application/JSON, and you will have to input your API key once again. But that's really it. That's the last step that you're actually going to have to take. So all we're going to do is we're just going to run this. We might have to restart and start from the beginning to make sure it all synced up properly. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back to the start, press play, and I'm going to execute this now. So now it's connecting to the actor right here. So this is going to run automatically, and then this will take 60 seconds, and the next one should take 60 seconds as well. And then what we're doing is we're just posting this in my Slack channel. So in my Slack channel, this should actually be a little bit different. So I'm going to have to change this and tweak it just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start it from the beginning and try to replay everything once again. So I'll just click down here to run the play. It's going to run the actor and connect to the API. And then it'll just take a few seconds to actually connect and grab the actor runs and then grab the dataset ID. From there, it'll post to my Slack channel. So this is pretty simple, and we're just connecting a simple Slack node. So how you can get that is I just go to Slack, and then I type in, I believe it might be create a message, or let's see, send a message. Yeah, so send a message, and then you'll get a node that looks like this. I'm connecting this to my N8n credentials. So all you have to do is just log into your account, provide an API key, pretty simple. Operation is going to be send. I want to post this in a channel, and then just specify which channel that you want that in. And from here, we're providing it with the context that you'll be getting from the HTTP request. So once this actually finishes loading, I'll show you what that can look like and how you can route that data. Okay, so it literally just finished up, and if I open up the Slack message, we should be able to see the previous outputs that we're getting. So you can see the titles of all the articles and all the different sources. So 2025 provider organizations will embrace new AI and analytics techniques. And remember, the topic that we gave it was specifically AI and emerging technologies. You could cover a whole array of different topics. It really doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to just stick with AI, but it's providing the links to all these different articles. So all I'm really doing right here is I'm providing some bolded character text. I'm saying latest trends. I'm providing it with the article. I'm just grabbing and dropping the JSON title right there and the link to the article. So I did include unfurl links and unfurl media. And what this does is if I open up my Slack channel, we will see right here, it's going to combine all of these different messages into one kind of concise output. So trying to make it look a little cleaner, but again, this probably took me 30 minutes to build out, so I haven't really put in much organizational techniques. Now, it doesn't have to stop here. So if you wanted to, you can generate YouTube transcripts and automatically pull all of them and store them in a Google Sheet. So what that looks like is I've done it in the past. We have the YouTube extractor. So I'll allow you to explore all these different actors for yourself. But anyways, yeah, so if you guys do want to get access to this system, I have it in my new paid community. Link is down below for that, where you can learn how to build AI agents and automations super quickly and really just fast track your learnings and join a community of like-minded individuals. But if you're a business owner and you're looking to implement these agents and have us build custom AI solutions, then you can apply to work with us. The link is down below in the description. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys found this video pretty valuable, because I just wanted to show you something quick that I built out and provides me a lot of value and will be saving me 30 minutes every single day from here on out. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.